It was Christmas night, 20 years ago, when I saw him, but he looked different, and I know to this day what I saw back then was not Santa. He took my brother, poor little Tommy, snatched by the evil spirit of the night. I couldn't stop him, but it was too late. It was Christmas night, and I was 9 years old. I stayed up late with my brother watching Christmas movies until my mom come up to tell us both we had to go to bed because it was getting too late. Before we went to bed, me and Tommy both put a plate of cookies and a glass of milk out for Santa, and also a little carrot for the reindeers. After that, me and Tommy said goodnight to our parents and raced upstairs to bed. I couldn't get any sleep that night because I was so excited about the next day, but Tommy was out like a log. So laying there standing at the ceiling, I couldn't help but notice a small hole right above me, just enough to fit your little finger through. I stared at it for a while, and I could start to see pure white behind it. I sat up to get a closer look, and when I got up closer, my stomach dropped, as whatever it was moved. I quickly laid back down and put the cover over my head, laying there trying to think what it was. I came to realization that it was an eye. I quickly peeped out to have another look, but the hole was gone, not a single scratch on the ceiling. How could that be? I plainly saw it right above me. I decided it was my imagination and tried to go back to sleep. Just as I was drifting off to sleep, I awoke to hear the door creaking open. I slowly and silently looked up to see who it was. I could see the outline of a fat old man dressed in red holding a massive sack. It's him, Santa. I closed my eyes and waited for him to leave a present or stocking by my bed. I could hear the fat old man slowly walk up to me. He stood there right beside me. I waited for him to do something, but he just stood there doing nothing. All of a sudden I leaned over, and now he was right in my face. I could feel his rancid breath on my cheek. It stank of rotten meat. His breathing intensified. I was now frightened. He then moved back and reached into his sack, slowly pulling out a massive gift. He left it by my bed and then walked over to Tommy. I watched him as he walked over and did the same thing he did to me. Just stood there and watched him. He then leaned over and his breathing was heavily again. He moved back and opened his sack, but this time he didn't pull anything out. Suddenly there was a massive struggle as Santa tried to put Tommy in his sack. I didn't know what to do. I was terrified. Tommy started to scream and struggle as he stuffed him in his sack. My dad heard all the commotion and ran to my room, flicking on the light, putting Santa in plain sight as we could see his face as he left Tommy through the bedroom window. His dark gray hair drooped down his face with sickly yellow skin, filled with wrinkles and little holes. His eyes were white as snow and his teeth like razor blades. As he left, he turned and looked at us all, stretched open his mouth like a snake, and gave out a mighty, ear-splitting screech. My dad ran to the window, but it was too late. Him and Tommy were completely gone. The police never found him or Tommy. 20 years on now, and I have a family of my own. Me and my family went around my parents' house for Christmas, searching through the attic this Christmas for decorations. The other night I came across a big box, wrapped up with Christmas wrapping paper. Suddenly the memories flooded back of the terrible night, and I remembered that thing gave it to me as a gift. Slowly and nervously I opened the box. What I saw made me sick to my stomach. A pile of pictures of me and Tommy, every Christmas, for 9 years, suddenly asleep in our beds. I was horrified. I threw the box away from me, from shock. Then I noticed where the box had been sitting was a little hole in the floor, looking straight down into my old bedroom. Then I realized it was a hole I saw in the ceiling all those years ago. He had been watching me. It was true. He sees you when you're sleeping.